Hey folks, today we're going to do the quest for which is best. In this corner we've got the Anycubic Kobra Go, and in the other corner we've got the Anycubic Kobra Neo. Which is best? The comparison started with these two skulls, and in my opinion, after looking at them up closely, the Go wins this competition, except that it's not a fair fight. So I wanted to start the competition with Sunshine's print-in-place box that has an active toroidal spring. So this box opens and closes. This is a print-in-place box that has a live toroidal spring on it and an active hinge, and it prints in one shot. This is not multiple pieces assembled. This is printed in one piece. In order to make it a fair fight, the Go, I had replaced the spacers with these springs so that I could really even out the plate to make it as flat as possible. I have a discrepancy on the Go of a 0.09 millimeter deviation. So I converted the Neo and I replaced the spacers and I installed these springs in the four corners, and I managed to get the Neo down to a 0.02 millimeter discrepancy. Okay, I think that Sunshine did an amazing job on the design and the detail of this little box, considering the fact that it prints on the bed in this position without support. So there was no support to print this top surface here. So if you have a look at the top surface, it's not perfect, but it's really, really good for a flat top that had no supports on it. And it's all due to the design he incorporated into the chamfered edges in order to be able to start to slowly create that flat surface. So completely genius in my opinion. The fine detail of that teeny tiny little latch that basically latches the box closed, and you got the toroidal spring on the end here that was the bottom surface, and you just push the little lever and it pops the lid open. I thought this was so cool. I played with this so much watching TV one night that I actually broke one of them. So very, very cool. But now let's see how the results come out from each of the printers. So in order to be able to make it a fair fight, I figured that I needed to use the same sheet. The Go came with this PEI sheet that's very, very rigid, has a very coarse surface on it. Honestly, I don't like it. It's much more difficult to be able to set your Z offset and see your material being laid down. So I figured to make it a fair fight that I would use the Kobra Go sheet on both. It has a rough surface as well. It's just not as coarse. It's more flexible, so it's easier to get the prints off of this sheet. I ran the test on both machines on this sheet. I printed out the brims that I love so much to make sure that I had good material adhesion, good thickness, and they came out beautifully. So here we have the first attempt on the Neo, which actually failed because it peeled up off the bed in this corner. So I stopped the print. I saw it happening and I was like, that's the first time ever for me that I've had a print peel up off the bed. But the walls came out beautifully. Everything looks dynamite. It's actually seized in place. So the first try on the Neo is a fail. My very first try on the Kobra Go was a success, worked perfectly. It's, like I said, it's highly addictive. It's super fun to play with. Hats off to Sunshine. I'll put the link in the description. The finish is dynamite. The hinge works. The latch works. I mean, it's very light pressure on this little lever. And actually the detail in there is just absolutely incredible that he managed to print that little button to move in and out, and that it did not fuse to the piece that's just above it. Okay, so the second attempt on the Neo, the finish came out beautiful. Everything looks dynamite, but you cannot move that hinge. It is absolutely seized up, and I think it's because of this head pin here, but I can't say for certain at the moment. But the toroidal spring, it did not adhere to the plate. I can snap it in and out with my finger. It's definitely something to do with the hinge point on this thing. So for finish quality, it's absolutely dynamite. But for functionality of just putting it on the bed and printing, Neo fails. So the winner of this round is the Kobra Go. Don't know exactly why the Neo failed, but if you have any ideas, please place your suggestions in the comments.